Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the range. Tom here, and today we're doing this 1946 Willy's Jeep build. Um, this was a challenge build, well, for a one-on-one swap. Well, this is for full custom diecast. Brad over there, his wife Michelle, requested me to do this. So why don't we go ahead and head on down the range and get started? I've always loved these Willy's Jeeps castings. Always been one of my favorite castings to do something with. And I had quite a bit of these just laying around. So when I was on live Instagram not too long ago, a request was made to... It was a Jeep build and then a Batmobile style build. There was also one more catch to the build. And you'll see that a little later on in the film. I'm not gonna give it to you guys straight until it actually starts getting closer to you see me doing that part. Well, I had this McDonald's Hot Wheels 57 Chevy I had just laying around, and I didn't want to cut up any of the good Hot Wheels that I had, the good 57 Chevys that I had, so I went with this. And I had to do a little bit of modifying, a little bit of cutting, the whole 9 yards to build this. Had to cut the screw off because I did not have a triangle screw to pull out the engine, so I just cut the screw off and boom, I didn't need the front end anyway. So, that made it a little bit easier just having that out of the way. And once I got done getting them out of the stripper, combining them was a little bit difficult. I already punched some holes in these little corners right here because I was going to cut off the back end of the Jeep. I was also going to be cutting on half of the 57 Chevy, and you'll see that here in a little bit. But, I wanted to go as far as I can into as a custom doing this, trying to make a Willy's Jeep into a Batmobile. That was right there. That was the big challenge. So I literally thought about just adding some fins onto it and whatever, and just going off that. I was like, no. I'm like, that'd be too easy for me to do. So I wanted to do another combination style build with this. So the only thing came close, and I was looking at all the fantasy castings that I had to see if anything looked similar to the back end of a Batmobile, and I was like, no, none of these look good. And that's when I found this 57 Chevy. And I was like, definitely. I was like, this is going to work. It's one of the Hot Wheels McDonald's version ones, so didn't have no interior or anything like that. So I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna worry about it. I'm gonna cut this one up just to combine it. And for the most part, everything kind of lined up a little bit. I had to use a little bit of finagling just to get it to where it would go right. Had to do a lot of filing to get it to where it lay straight. As you see here, it's kind of a little cockeyed. Had to do a little bit of filing on the other end, the driver's side, to get it to fit right. Filed down the tops of where the windows were done, just to get that smoothed out. And just doing the best I can to cut out the back of this Jeep was difficult, but I was able to do it because I didn't want to put that part on there. I was going to cover the whole little empty area with styrene anyway. And it was a challenge. It was a real challenge. I'll tell you that. And you guys know me. I'll never back down from a challenge. So I had to do this. So I took some Gorilla Glue, glued it on just to kind of give it an idea where it was going to sit. I took some JB Weld, mixed some JB Weld up together, because I was going to end up having to... Oop, and there goes my camera. Kind of almost got knocked over there for a minute. But, I took some of this JB Weld and mixed it up and just kind of mixed it up. And I took some styrene to put it on the back side of where the wheel wells were. So when I put JB Weld on, it didn't go backward. It kind of filled in that little gap where the wheel well was at. And, just to give it that smoother transitioning over when I put the JB Weld on. And luckily enough, the base that I used fit perfectly. I had to do a little bit of trimming on the back part of the base, but it all in all, it went together really good. I'd already drilled and tapped the post by this time, so I wanted to just do what I could. And there goes the camera again. I don't know. I gotta get me a new stand or something. It's just, I don't know, it's just a little too top heavy, I guess. But I trimmed down the styrene to size, just to get it to where, it wasn't in the way or anything like that. And, just I used a lot of JB Weld. I only did one side on video because the other side, it just took too long for this stuff to dry. I literally had to let it set for like 3 days for both sides just to get dry before I could work on it. So I've been working on this for like over a week now at this time. And finally, I'm getting to the finished portion of it where I'm just doing this voiceover and I'm doing the final clear coats. I'm going to be putting some decals on it. But, I wanted to, just do the best I can to make everything just kind of flush, just everything just kind of work together. So, I wanted to do the best I could trying to transition this into a Batmobile. I wanted everything to look good. I wanted everything to, look smooth and just be able to fit. And, I had to cut off the bumper portion of the 57 Chevy to get it to line up with the base. I ended up, after everything was said and done, I didn't cut the base's rear portion off. Like, I had to trim it, and you'll see that later on in the film, because I wanted to make sure it fit just right. And, it was one of those challenges. It definitely was a challenging build. Making it into a Batmobile was probably the biggest challenge of the entire build. Putting the base on it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that hard. I was able to get that knocked out pretty quick. I ended up putting a hood scoop on it. You'll see here in a little bit later. I ended up finally bringing out the milliput again. After so long of not using it, I decided to bring it back out. And I didn't know what else to do. I really didn't. I knew kind of along the lines I was going to is just kind of, most of this was just kind of a wing it build. Just a little bit of trial and error just to see if I could do something. And I'm one of these guys that if I'd never done it before, I will sure in heck try it. And I've done a Batmobile style build before, but I didn't make something into a Batmobile. I just modified a Batmobile. Like, extended the front end, put 2 engines in it and stuff like that. So, just being able to get it combined enough to where, it didn't look out of place, I should say. I think I did a relatively good job on this. The paint I could have done better with, but it didn't look too bad, honestly. And Michelle requested that, or I was told that Michelle likes 3 different colors. And I'm not going to tell you the colors until you see me painting. And I actually do have video footage of me painting the colors. But I took the milliputty that I had, like I said, and just started making like these back domes. I got the inspiration a little bit from the 66 Batmobile, how the canopy looked and stuff like that. But this was my own version of a Batmobile from a Jeep cast. And, I did a lot of smoothing with some water. That's why you see my finger kind of go out of frame there for a minute and come back. It's because I'm dipping it in water to help smooth out the milliputty to get it to form better where I want it to go and everything else. But and then the thing is, I had to let this stuff dry for like almost 2 days to get it to where I can sand it smooth enough to where it would actually, when I painted it, you couldn't really tell. And I'm trimming up where the trunk would be right now, so I'm kind of smoothing stuff around there. I ended up adding a turbine little piece on the back using a old 3D printed off-road rim, I think. I can't remember. It's been a bit since I got the part. But I ended up using that and put a little on the back as a little turbine, as you see here. Put a little bit of milliput around it to smooth it out. So far it's actually looking pretty good. And you see a little bit of pink underneath, and honestly that was because I was trying to do a base coat real quick just to see if I had any flaws in the sides or anything like that. But I'm wanting to do what I can, because I'm always trying to one up my builds. Each video I'm trying to one up it. And right now I'm at the last minutes of this one, so I can start working on my 4 horseman build, which is not going to take me that long to do because it's a pretty simple build. It's a Mad Max Gasland style build. So I'm not going to go all crazy with this one, and I'm just going to probably do it. It's going to be a real quick adding armor, adding guns, adding this, adding that, and just painting it, and that's it. The first of the year, I'm going to be starting trying to do a whole new different ideas, trying to do better with my moving parts, trying to do better with my paints, because I'm actually going to be able to use 2K Clear now. Right now, I have some that was sent to me for a Christmas present. I have it sitting ready and willing to use, but I just got to get some, gotta wait till I get paid to get some lacquer thinner to clean out the airbrushes with after the use of the clear coat. But I appreciate the person that got for me, because he, not only am I wanting to see my game step up, he's wanting to see what I can do, and that's why he's done a lot to help me out with advice and all kinds of other stuff, and I really do appreciate that, and everything that he's done for me, and everything that everybody's done for me, my Instagram followers, my fellow diecast YouTube guys. I cannot tell you guys thank you enough for everything that you guys have done for me, whether it's a positive comment, whether it's hey, how you doing, it doesn't matter. All the positivity helps. But here we go to painting the car, and of course I'm going to do a base white, and I'm just making sure I get everything covered and stuff like that. I'm not doing like more than a couple coats, more than maybe 2 coats of this. And then after it dries up, I'm going to be doing a fluorescent pink. That's one of the colors that Michelle likes, is a hot pink style color. And so I decided to, it's going to be a partial hot pink Batmobile. Yeah, out of all things, a hot pink Batmobile. Well, at least it's not just hot pink. It's got another color too. So we'll get to that here shortly. But I don't really work with pink very much because it's honestly, I've tried it before and it ended up turning out looking like it was almost red. And I'm doing 2 coats of pink because I wanted it. I didn't want it thick, but I wanted it on there because I didn't really do a good enough coat the first time. And I'm taping off, and you guys won't be seeing the second coat that I do, but I'm taping off as much as I can that I want. I didn't want to go too fancy because I seem to have lost my really thin masking tape. So it's gonna be a while before I do some really thin designs, but I can't seem to find it, but I will. Right now, like I said, I'm doing my best to mask off certain spots, making sure it goes a certain way, and just to get it exactly where I want it. And like I said, I could have done better with the paint, but I did the best I could. I was rushing the tape job because I wanted to get it done so I could start working on my Four Horsemen build, but I wanted to also make it look good too. So, if I didn't do the voiceovers, you'd be hearing a lot of curse words and all kinds of stuff, me throwing stuff every now and then. This build, it was a fun build, don't get me wrong. It's just I know I could have did better on a lot of things on it, but I like how it turns out in the end. I really do. It actually turned out a lot better than what I was expecting. I did detail up the front end where the headlights were at and the turn signals were at. I ended up detailing up the little turbine engine and all that kind of stuff. The stuff that needed details. I ended up putting decals on it, and you guys already know it's going to be a Batmobile, so it's got Batmobile decals on it, or Batman decals on it, I mean. And that's pretty much the whole story of this. And I'm really, really excited about the new year, being a new member of the Four Horsemen. And I hope you guys still continue to watch my videos, continue to still follow me on Instagram, because I'm going to still try to do my best to put out new and improved content of different things to do. And you see here, it took me a while to tape everything, and I'm kind of poking it with like this little brush. This little brush end piece, I was just trying to smooth everything down and go from there. So just masking it off was the easy part, to a point, and I'm just trying to do small little details here and there, pick a little piece of tape off. But here's what we started off with: this 1946 Willy's Jeep, and we turned it into a Batmobile. Whether it looks like a Batmobile, it does to me, whether it does to you or not, that's your choice. Whatever you pick, if it does, it does. Doesn't, no big deal. There's nothing I can do about it. But without further ado, why don't we check out the final results? And I'll see you next time at the range.